Hello there, emerging mothers and also Instagram followers. I hope all of you are good and you'll see me looking this way and looking that way. But I am so excited you're here. Listen, there is a saying that says, when luck happens, when preparation meets opportunity. But you know what? Do I believe in luck? I can't really quite say that I believe in luck. I really don't believe in luck, but what I do believe in is success. And I believe that success occurs when preparation meets opportunity. So guess what? What I'd like to do on today is I'd like to talk about those things that 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds should already know how to do at this point. And so that's what I want to focus on. I want to make sure that these teens are prepared prior to them transitioning out of the home. So listen, first and foremost, before they transition out of the home, teens ought to already know how to listen to their body. They need to already know when they're sleepy and when they're hungry. They need to know really their health history. They will also want to know what they're allergic to. Listen, my 14-year-old, listen, we changed the medical insurances. And I just, either yesterday or the day before, just gave her medical card. Now, I do have one, but I want her to already get into the routine of being able to not only listen to her body and do what needs to be done regarding her body, which she does anyway. Listen, I look around and she's already in the bed at night. She hasn't told no one good night. She is out like a light. And so she knows when she's sleepy. So she is out. But, you know, about a month and a half or 2 months ago, she needed to make a doctor's appointment. I gave her the number to the doctor's office. She jingled them up to either ask questions or set an appointment. And so I think it's essential that our teens not only listen to their body, that they know how to set their doctor's appointments, that they know how to go to the pharmacy, fill prescriptions, all of those things that they will eventually be doing. It's okay that they do them right here and right now. It's okay. You know, that was one of the things that was the most challenging for me, is when my 2 out of 3 older daughters they were transitioning out of the home, and for me to hand over to them their Social Security card, and then their medical card, and then their dental card. Those things were a sign of release. And because I wanted to release with respect, it was important for me to hand those things over, because guess what? They may need them while they're on the other side of my front door. So making sure that they're able to do those things is very, very important. Listening to their body, making sure that they are knowing what their body is saying, that they're following through, they're knowing those things that they're allergic to, so that if they do have to set a doctor's appointment, or if there's an emergency, then they're having to go to the clinic or the emergency room, they already know what they're unable to have in their bodies. That is so important. So that's number one. Secondly, when they're 17, 18, 19, up in that age, if not before, they will already want to know how to grocery shop. Listen, even if they have to go ahead and you know, put them in food groups on their document, whether they have to start off, of course, with maybe the meats in this section, as they've maybe done a T-chart, or maybe a T-chart, but then an extra line behind their meats, and then maybe their starches in that corner, and then their veggies, their fruits, their dairy, their miscellaneous. You know, knowing how to go and grocery shop and get those things that you need is so important. It's so important for them, especially at that age. At some point in time, they're going to need to do that on their own anyway. So, you know what? This is good practice right now. So I am going to encourage you mothers to allow them to do some grocery shopping. So, yep, divide that list up. and they will know where they need to go and what they need to get. And then, of course, before they leave the house, of course, I know you'll want to look at it to make sure that everything that's needed there at the house, that they have it on there. And then allow them, at some point, that trust has to begin to really, really blossom. And, is anyone, dying or getting sick, or, is anything tragic happening from them going to the grocery store to purchase those groceries and getting into the routine of that? Absolutely not. Nothing harmful at all. Of course, the worst thing that can happen is, something is forgotten, and then, maybe someone in the family or them, they need to go back and get it. So that number 2, knowing how to grocery shop. And listen, I so appreciate you all coming on. I am talking about those things that those 17, 18, 19-year-olds need to already know what to do. And I want to, just jump in and just welcome those new followers, plenty of new followers on Instagram, and then also the new emerging mothers in our private Facebook group, which is titled Emerging Mothers, of course. And if you have yet to join our Facebook group and you're watching me on Instagram, listen, feel free to, especially if you have a high school junior or senior, just search us, look us up, Emerging Mothers, and we'd love for you to join us. And so, yep, that's number 1, knowing how to for them to listen to their bodies. Number 2, of course, knowing how to grocery shop. Number 3, you know what, and we talked about this in the masterclass, knowing how to manage those finances, how to make deposits, knowing how to make withdrawals, knowing how to pay bills. Some may go off already and they already have maybe a charge card or something along those lines. And so knowing how to pay that either off, or knowing how to pay a little bit more than what the balance is. But definitely making sure that we're making those payments in a timely manner, and a lot of times beforehand, because you're establishing that credit. And so from a financial perspective, they'll need to already know how to, of course, place those dollars in savings, and being able to spend wisely is very, very important. So that is, of course, number 3, if you will. And then also, guess what? Number 4 is being able to organize and hosting events and giving apartment warmings and even being able to move into the dorm. My second daughter and even my first daughter, after we did that grand move at the very, very beginning, did we, have to continue to fly back and forth to Virginia or fly back and forth to Missouri? We didn't, because they were able to get, of course, the information that they needed, or better yet, in reference to moving in and being able to shift their items into the room. This is, second year, third year. Of course, after the first year, us moving them in, then they were able to manage all of that. So knowing how to move and knowing how to relocate, that's important. And then, later on down the line, they'll need to know how to host events. Mine were with organizations, and of course the hosting of events occurred within those organizations. So lots of those skills were taught then. Your senior, high school senior, your high school junior, they may have a graduation party, whatever you all are deciding. I would encourage you, I would inspire you to allow them to play a major role in the planning of that graduation party that's upcoming. My daughter graduates in a couple of weeks, and I cannot wait to take you all there, emerging mothers. And listen, if you all want to see what's going on these college campuses at those graduations, you'll want to join our Facebook group, because guess what? Just like I did in May, my second daughter, of course, graduates here in December on the 18th. I'll be taking emerging mothers there as well, so they can be a part of that. It's going to be super exciting. So I'd encourage you, of course, to join that Facebook group. So nonetheless, being able to organize and move and host an event, that's important, that they know how to do at this age. Listen, we're talking about preparation, and when preparation meets opportunity, then that's when success soars. Next, multitasking. Now, a number of teens, of course, they have their academic work, and then after that, they have their work as far as their sports are concerned. And then after that, they may be a part of a club, or they may be a part of an organization. a number of different things going on. And so I'm sure they're multitasking right now. So supporting them and assisting them so that they can remain encouraged as they're multitasking will be key. It will be key. Next, I want to talk just a little bit about communication. Away with the idea that when the teen transitions out of the home, there being constant reminders to, call home, be sure to check on us, or, why didn't you call me back? And away with those times. Our teens ought to already know that it's important to check in with the family and call home when you have a few spare moments, and just sharing that with them right now is ideal. Listen, and it's all a part of courtesy, and even, leaving the home, when they leave the home to go to the grocery store, run an errand, or just going up to, maybe the convenience store or something like that, encouraging them, to ask the other family members, listen, do you need something from the store? I'm getting ready to make a quick run. I can, did you need anything? It's just common courtesy. And guess what? When that starts right now in the house, they will do that when they have that roommate, or they will do that when they're a part of that club or organization, when they're on the college campus, or it can even be when they are going to a meeting, with that club or organization. Then whatever snack or whatever beverage they have, then guess what? They will already be in the routine of bringing an extra one. It's just common courtesy from time to time. It's just showing kindness. And so then, of course, we receive back what we issue out. And so that's how that whole kindness starts. And that is powerful and impactful in an environment that is new to our sons and our daughters. I remember a sorority sister of mine. Her son went off to college. And I wanted it to be whereas, he's able to show kindness to those others in his dorm hall or on his dorm floor. So my care package to him was just a case full of snacks, and there probably was maybe 40 to 50 snacks in this case, whether it was cookies or whether it was chips or whether it was crackers or whatever, fruit snacks, whatever it was, that gives him an opportunity to take that maybe to the first hall meeting or something along those lines, and then share with the rest of his hallmates. So, and it just leaves an impression on other people, of just the kindness that can be shown. So communication, and that was almost like non-communicating, him bringing snacks to his first dorm meeting, but also communicating as well verbally. That's so important. So let's teach them those things right here, right now, just so that they'll be able to do that once they land on the college campus. And then also, it's very, very important that we teach our teens just social awareness. Now, moments ago, when I just talked about, our teens being able to listen to their bodies and know when they're sleepy and know when they're hungry and know just what their body is saying and taking care of their body. That's more like self-awareness. But when I talk about social awareness, I'm specifically speaking about our teens having the ability and knowing how to read the room and know what impact they're making in a room. Is it positive? Is it negative? If it's negative, how can I tweak my behavior so that it is more positive? How are other people seeing me from possibly what I'm saying or what I'm doing? What else is going on in the room, and how can I comfortably engage in the conversation? Have we worked with our teens in reference to our pounce pictures? Being able to insert ourselves in conversations so that it's comfortable and that it's a good fit. And so, again, being able to inspire our teens regarding their social awareness is so key. So please, I encourage you, mothers, to please work with them on that. Then also, at this age of them transitioning out of the home, it's important that they know, how to make travel arrangements, how to pack their clothes, how to make sure that they're doing all of those needed, necessary things, especially if they're traveling off and going out of state to attend a college or a university. That's critically important. And then also next, listen, what about this? We talked about a little bit self-awareness and then social awareness, but what about this global awareness? Are our teens talking about those things that are going on around the world? Are they able to have meaningful dialogue with someone, as it pertains to sports? Or, are they astute in reference to the fashion industry? What about maybe the travel industry? Have they gone out and experienced and been exposed to different places, whereas they are able to speak to what maybe other cultures are doing, or what certain maybe the automobile industry, just being able to relate and being able to speak on certain things, our climate crisis. What about, I don't know, conflicts that are happening over in Boko Haram, just global world matters. It's so very, very global warming, just whatever it is that's going on around the world. Are our teens able to talk about those types of things? So listen, this is what we want to focus on, in preparing them for that transition from the inside of our front door to the outside of our front door. And we want them to be able to care for themselves, and these are some good ways that they're able to do that. When they begin to meet friends on the college campus, being able to know what gifts to purchase, and delivering that gift, and knowing how much to tip when they're at a restaurant, and some people do 10%, some people do 20%. All of those different types of things are definitely important, and so I just want to make sure that they are as prepared as they can possibly be, because guess what? When they're prepared, then guess what? We feel better prepared, and we, of course, as parents, if you will, we're able to just have a comfort level, less anxiety, knowing that they're taken care of. So listen, those are just some tips that I wanted to share on today. Again, I want to welcome those new mothers in our private Facebook group. I want to welcome you, and thanks so much for joining in on Instagram. And I want to wish all of you just happy holidays, which is quickly coming up. And of course, I think I have at least one or two more between now and the holidays, of course, of these lives and tossing tips and dropping gems. Also, I want to make sure that you are just fully aware of just more and more so of what's happening on the college campuses. So I'm going to be dropping some tips as it pertains to that as well, because we just want to make sure that we're clear and know what it is that our teens will be stepping into after that graduation. So listen, thank you so very much for joining. I so appreciate all of you. And I will see you next Thursday, if not before then. And I'm so glad that each and every one of you have had a good Thanksgiving. Have a good evening or a good morning if you're, of course, connected internationally. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.